Hey, happy Homebrew Wednesday. So, not a whole lot going on this week, but I did do a brew day, and you'll see footage of that. I was doing. First of all, forgive me. I'm drinking coffee instead of beer. It's kind of late, and I got to get to bed tonight. Especially since I have a really early appointment in the morning. Apparently, the only time to get an MRI at the hospital nearest me is 5 in the morning, so I have to get up pretty early to get it. I got something up with my neck. Not sure what's going on, but try to get it fixed. Anyway, I digress. So I did do a brew day on Saturday, so it's been sitting in the fermenter now for what, 3 days? 3 days? And it was I guess I'll call it a Belgian pale. It was a maple porter recipe, but I left the maple syrup in. I took out all of the roasted malts, so I think I had some brown malt and some really dark caramel malts. I replaced those with caramel tin and what else did I put in there? Did I put any honey malt? I might have put some honey malt. Oh, I put some flaked oats, and well, you'll see. I'll show the grain bill in the footage, but never have done a Belgian ale before. So I've had a Westy 12. Actually, I had a bunch of Westy 12. I was in Germany one time at a dinner, and this guy has like 3 cases that he had been stocking up over his year in Germany, and he has them sitting out in the back. It was kind of cold. Didn't tell us what these things were. All I knew is this guy had some beer. I didn't know it was damn near, or 12%. I think it's 10.2 or 11% or something like that. So, 3 or 4 beers later, I'm feeling no pain, thinking, wow, this is pretty good. Didn't know that it was like supposed to be the best beer in the world. But anyway, ever since then, I kind of like, Belgian beers. I like that dark fruit flavor. This one I'm doing, I tried to start off light, so I figured I'd call it a Belgian pale. I'm not sure what the Belgian yeast I use, WLP 550, I think. Not sure what that'll do to kind of lighter malts. The hops, don't remember the exact hops I use, but you'll see when I do the footage. But anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it comes out. It's been in the fermenter. I put it in the. I've been using buckets now ever since I had that one disaster with my cantankerous lederhosen, where I dropped it out of the carboy holder and 5 gallons exploded all over my kitchen. So I normally use the buckets, and then if I have to transfer into a secondary, then I'll do that with the bottles. But this one I don't think I'll have to transfer. But it's in the taller 5-gallon bucket. You have the big fat wide wine ones, and then you have the taller, kind of skinnier 5 gallons. That's the one I'm using, and it's weird. The first time I used it, the airlock didn't bubble. But yet the beer still fermented. That was the very first batch I ever did. This one's kind of the same way, but I trust it. I'm pretty sure I can smell. Open up, I can smell it in there. I can smell that fermenting beer smell. So I know something's going on. I'm not really freaking out. I do like the fact that it's getting cooler now. So my basement has the perfect 68-degree temperature to ferment an ale. So I don't have to do anything. It's kind of nice. So kind of welcome the change of seasons now to get the perfect fermenting temperatures. Anyway, I apologize. I haven't had a chance to see a lot of your videos out there. I've been really busy with work since I got back from Homebrew Wednesday homecoming in Philadelphia. See the shirt, Philadelphia. Yeah. But I've been watching some of the footage from that, watching up the rest of the SJ Pour Challenge beer reviews. Trying to get caught up. So I'll try to knock out some of them. Northern Accent. I have not forgotten that I owe you some beers. I had some. The ones that I had planned to send you, I drank, or somebody drank. We got a little feisty, and so I don't have as much on stock right now. But I will definitely. Maybe I'll send you some of this Belgian pale if it turns out good. The next beer I'm going to make after this is going to be called Reindeer's Breath. It's going to be a seasonal specialty beer. You can probably listen to the name and kind of get an idea. It's going to be very, very strong, very sweet, a lot of spices. I like the name, so with a name like Reindeer's Breath, it's got to be good, right? We'll see how that goes. What else? I remember what I wanted to talk about. Kevin Clements. Looks like I'll be joining you on the dieting piece. every year around this time, my wife gets on the kick to start, us living healthy and doing some dieting. So I guess I have a target goal weight of 187. I'm at 205 right now. I'm pretty intense when I do this weight loss thing, so I'm pretty sure I can get there in about a month, or a month and a half. So probably have to start buying some more clothes soon. Anyway, we've already started the healthy kick. We had some fish or something tonight, and we had some kind of lightweight meat yesterday. And surprisingly, I'm not famished. I've been supplementing with coffee too. So anyway, well, that's all I'm going to have for tonight. Yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed the footage. Oh, by the way, I kind of questioned the community to see what would be a good name for this Belgian pale ale I'm going to make. As you'll see, I pretty much hit all my target gravities, and hopefully it turns out well. One thing I am going to try when I do my next beer is or my next IPA. I've been seeing some. I got the Zymergy magazine this weekend, and it was this weekend. It's talking about. In one article, 2 brewers were doing an IPA, and they talked about balancing the hoppiness, because they had something like 5 ounces of some kind of hop in there, and 5 ounces of some. And I'm like, how do they do that with their malt bill of only like 10 pounds of grain? And one of the brewers suggested that you mash at a higher temp. I've always been using kind of the optimal. They tell you 154, 153. So. Curious if you, and I've always wanted, I like maltier balanced IPAs, a little sweet and mouthfeel to it. So curious out there if anybody's got any suggestions. Next time I do an IPA, what would be a good temperature, higher temperature? I don't want to go too high and get the astringency or whatever, but what would be the right temperature? Is it like 158, 159? Is that too high? I don't know. Just trying to get a feel for what that brewer was talking about. So let me know. All right, cheers. Hey, happy Homebrew Wednesday. So this is my brew day. It's Saturday morning, and I don't know if you can tell what I'm going to do, but I got 10 pounds of Marinus solder. Let's see, I got a pound of melanoidin, a pound of carapils, a pound of flaked oats, a pound of Brice Caramel 60. I'm also going to add about 12 ounces of maple syrup. And then I have UK Challenger, Brewer's Gold, and First Gold. I also have 2 vials of White Labs 550. So it's going to be a Belgian ale. I'm converting a recipe that I had that was originally a maple porter, and I'll change it to a Belgian ale. So we'll see what happens. So I got my old assistant brewer helping me out with the camera again.
Hello.
I don't know if you can see him. The Loganator. I have never shown video of this before since I got my grain crusher, but this is how I crush my grains now. I like it because you can smell the grains, and I don't know. I don't like hanging out in the grain store, crushing grains. Water bites me. So anyway, don't want to make you watch the whole thing. Just thought you might find it interesting. Kill it. Okay, all right. So we're back. So I finished crushing the grain. Come on over here and take a look at it. So I've got it put into my mash tun. So if you can see in there. First time I'm mixing oats, the guy at the home grain or the homebrew supply store said you didn't need rice hulls for this, for flaked oats. It's my first time. I hope I don't get a stuck sparge. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if you've seen these systems before, but it has this like, I wish I had the proper nomenclature of my equipment here, but this little floating ball, you put this, I can remember how this goes on. You screw this in right here. Let me get this in. This nut goes on the back side.
Oh my god, my arm.
Your arm hurting?
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Okay, my cameraman's getting tired, so we'll go ahead and take a break here. But essentially, this ball floats when you're doing the mash, and it automatically cuts off the water coming in from the hot mix. Okay, so I finished mashing, and now I am sparging into my boil kettle. Only thing I'm worried about is I made the cardinal mistake of plugging my boil kettle in and not checking to make sure it wasn't plugged into the EBC. So I did a dry fire with my coil. You can kind of see how it's a little charred. So it made a high-pitched noise. I'm hoping I didn't break it. We'll see when I start to boil. Could be a disaster. We'll never know. Okay, so I am heating up for the boil now. That's about 4 to 6 degrees off, so I'm getting pretty close. So what I came up with for my first running was 1089. My target pre-boil was 1064. I ended up with 1063, so I'm pretty close. So I'll come down here and do my math, multiply. I want to be so 1063, so 63 times 7, so I got 441 total gravity units. What I want is 1073, so 73 whatever m equals 441, the total gravity. So do the math, 73 into 441 means I need to get down to about 6 gallons. So looks like I'll have this is 7 gallons. I'll have to burn down about 1 gallon to 6 to get where I want to be. So everything's looking good so far. Looks like my boil coil is still good because it's actually boiling, so very happy. Cheers. Okay, brew day's done. Everything is clean. The beer turned out turned out to be a pretty good brew day. If you can see there, my target pre-boil was 1070 or 1064. I was 1063. My target OG was 1073, and I ended up with 1075. So got pretty good brew efficiency. In the bucket, it was just under 5 gallons because I only collected what was it, 6.5 or right at 7 gallons. But when you come out of the brew kettle through the pumps, you lose quite a bit, so you usually have to collect more. I've been thinking about getting more grain and kind of pump it up a little bit so I can get more volume. But anyway, so I got Kickstand Nate currently on tap and fermenting. I need a name. I need a name for this Belgian. Was a porter, now it's a Belgian ale. So I'll put it out there to the BrewTube community. If you guys can think of a cool name, I can't think of one off the top of my head. So anyway, put your comments in. Whatever the coolest name somebody comes up with, I'll name it that, and we'll see what happens. So cheers and happy Homebrew Wednesday.